You are listening to the Waking Up to Purpose podcast with Lily Badcock in association with lilybadcock.com. What if every challenge you've ever faced was for a purpose? What if every perceived failure was in fact you stepping ever closer to the life you were born to live? I'm Lily Badcock, and I'm here to let you know that you were born with a divine purpose in your heart. And you're here because you know that's true. The process of awakening can be tough. Fired up and inspired one minute and then overwhelmed and lost the next. I've created this podcast to share with you every aspect of my own journey to purpose, as well as the stories of others who have walked the same path. Fear and doubt can place a lot of uncertainty in our minds, but here's what's true. You are needed. Your story matters. Wake up. Rise up. Together we can.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Holy moly, what a week. So I thought today we would talk about finding your way back to joy. And this whole episode has been inspired by the week of epiphanies and up levels and just expansion that I've had. It's just been such a testament to what can happen when we are willing to tune in and listen to our own inner guidance. And when we're willing to let go of what we think we should be doing. So this has become a bit of a theme. You're also going to have an episode coming out along with this one, which was an interview that I did last night with a friend of mine called Penny. It's such an awesome conversation, so do check it out. And like I say, that's coming out today, the same time as this episode. And we kind of touched on it in there as well. And really the theme for me this week personally, and I don't know about you, but the theme for me this week has been looking at the things that I have been filling my time with, looking at, how I've been spending my time and what I've been doing, and actually being okay with doing things my way, first and foremost. I've been a fan of learning and growth for years and years and years, and specifically spiritual growth and self-development in the last sort of 5 or 6 years. And along with that has come a lot of working with other people, right? Whether that's one-to-one or in group programs or online programs or whatever it may be. And along with that has always been this thing where at some point they give you their process or they teach you their blueprint. And I've just come to realize that my personality means that when somebody gives me a blueprint, I try to follow it to the absolute letter. And of course, nobody who isn't you is going to have the perfect blueprint for your life. Nobody that isn't you is going to be able to tell you what's best for you. You know what's best for you always. But the thing is, we don't always trust what we feel is best for us. Now, I'm not saying that you should cancel all programs and never work with anyone again and only ever listen to yourself. I'm not saying that at all, because I do believe that we are in a co-collaboration and we get to uplift each other. But what I've started to realise is the people that I've called into my space are teaching me lessons, and not even always through the lessons that they think they're teaching me, if that makes any sense at all. So even on the last episode, I was talking about my singing teacher or my vocal coach, Chris, and the fact that while he is kind of guiding me vocally, he's absolutely a spiritual teacher for me as well, whether he knows it or not. And this has just been more of a realization as this week has gone on. And so as I've gone through this week, I was actually guided to start reading a book / listen to a book. So I have an Audible account. If you don't know what Audible is, it's connected to Amazon. It's like an online book library. You can have a membership, so you pay a monthly fee. You can download the books in exchange for credits. Your membership gets you 1 credit per month. You get a free credit when you sign up. I will put a link in the show notes in case you want to sign up. For me, it's a brilliant way to consume content and to read books at a time when I probably wouldn't sit down and read a book. That's not because I can't find the time, because I actually think we can always find the time for the things that we value, right? But for me, the way I am, to sit and actually read words out of a page, I get too distracted. I definitely think I have some kind of attention disorder, because I find it really difficult to just focus on one thing. My husband will tell you, if we sit down to watch a film, I really struggle to just sit and watch the film. I normally have a journal out, or I'll be scrolling on my phone, you know, like trying to read posts, or, you know, even a bit of a book or whatever. I find it really difficult to focus on one thing. But when it's an audio thing, for some reason I find that all right. Now granted, I still don't sit still when I listen. I've actually cultivated a daily habit now of going out in the morning for some time to myself, which has just been an absolute game changer. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. And part of that is I go for a walk, I put my headphones on, and I put the book on Audible. So I'm still doing more than one thing at once. So that satisfies my need to feel like I'm busy. But actually, it's been fueling me every day. It's been so powerful. And the book I was led to read / listen to this week was called Super Attractor by Gabrielle Bernstein. So Gabrielle Bernstein is someone I've been aware of for years. I can't remember how I first came across her, but I know that I downloaded her book May Cause Miracles years ago, and I loved the way it was laid out. So in May Cause Miracles, she teaches these concepts, and there's like a morning practice and an evening practice, and I really enjoyed that. It was a really nice introduction to taking time for yourself, to guided meditation, and all of these lovely things. What I found though, when I was trying to follow through that book, what I found was I just didn't follow through. I would always get a couple of chapters in, and then I would just fall off the wagon. I would stop doing the exercises. I would stop finding time. I would tell myself that there wasn't time. I would tell myself I didn't have a nice space to sit in. I would just tell myself all these reasons why I couldn't do it. And so it was really interesting to me that when I found Super Attractor, I feel like I'm a different kind of person now. And I don't think it's that I am a different kind of person. I just think I've been really learning to value what's important to me. And what I've loved about Super Attractor is it's just reminding me of things I have always known but had maybe lost sight of. So a big shout out to Gabrielle Bernstein, number one, and a huge thank you. I think Super Attractor is my favourite book of the moment, if not ever. It's just so powerful, and I'm only 5 chapters in, because I only started it this week, but holy moly, it's just amazing. So if you want to check it out, I will put a link in the show notes. But that is what has inspired the theme of this episode, which is finding your way back to joy. So let me start by saying that this week I've had a few realizations, and they've been a little bit shocking, I'm not going to lie. So the first realization was I've realized that I'm actually an introvert. So this is a weird thing for me, and I think you can be an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert or whatever way around it goes. But basically, I've always assumed I was an extrovert because I love performing, I love singing. I don't have an issue being in crowds of people. I don't have an issue, being in front of crowds of people, being in front of an audience or any of that. So because of that, I've always assumed I was an extrovert. And I think that has put me massively out of alignment, because I have therefore sought to do extroverted activities, and then they've always become a bit of a burden. It's only been since being in lockdown, and specifically this week, that I've really started to realise that actually I think I'm an introvert, because I haven't missed being around a lot of people. And that's not to say that I don't miss my friends and my family. Like, obviously I miss seeing people, but I've noticed there are people talking about, I can't wait to get back in a pub, or I can't wait until we have this huge party where we're all together. And I'm over here like, yeah, Like, yeah, that would be all right. But I don't feel like I'm missing anything by not having that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And this week, kind of alongside, I mean, going back to this book, right, it's just been magic how I even came to listen to it. I was going for a drive. I think it might have only been Monday this week. I was going for a drive. I wanted something to listen to in my car. I couldn't stream anything because I had no 4G, so I was looking at things I already had on my phone, and I realised I had things downloaded from Audible. So I went to go in and I thought I was going to listen to some Gary Vee, because I love Gary Vee, like I really love Gary Vee. And he pumps me up, he inspires me. I love him, love him. He always shifts my mood, my vibration when I listen. And so that's where I was headed. And as I landed in my account, I hovered over Gary Vee, and I've read one of his books, Crush It, but I've got another one of his books backed up, ready to go. And then underneath that, I spied Super Attractor by Gabrielle Bernstein. And something just made me click on that instead. And of course, you know, then I'm listening to the book, and I think I might have touched on this a little bit now. I'm thinking about it as I speak. It feels familiar, so maybe I've spoken about this already, but the minute she went into the book, like right from the beginning, it felt like she was speaking directly to me, and everything that had been a worry that was present in my mind was being addressed and answered in the words I was listening to. So it really felt like spiritual guidance drew me to that book. And of course, at some point in the book, she even says, you know, you're reading this book for a reason, you found this book for a reason. But I've actually heard people say that before. I've never felt it to be so true though. So it's been really amazing to be listening to that book, and what has come about as a result of that. So because I'm enjoying the book so much, I've started to cultivate this daily habit of getting out of the house early on my own for an amazing walk. Now, we are being blessed in the UK right now with the gorgeous weather. So I did wonder this morning how enjoyable it would be once we hit, you know, the wind and the rain and the cold that comes later in the year. But right now I'm loving it, and it's cultivated this habit for me, and it's making me feel good. Now the thing is though, I've seen countless blueprints and advice from people saying get out and do a daily walk, or go out and do a daily run, or read a book every day, or like all of these things. It's never been anything I could stick to, because it's never come from me. Does that make sense? I've never been able to stick to anything that I wasn't led to myself. And then what that has led to, incorrectly, is a belief that I don't follow through, that I'm flaky, that I never complete anything. And there's been this kind of weight of guilt that's like burdened me for years, that I'm just not anyone that ever sees anything through. And I thought that made me, you know, like a bit of a crap human being, really. This has been such an amazing awakening for me, because, like I say, it's got me into this daily habit. I'm feeling more inspired as a result. It's giving my day structure, even though I always pride myself on being someone that doesn't need structure. I feel like it's because I so, what's the word? I so deeply value my intuition and my ability to be spontaneous, and I deeply value free flow and freedom, right? So structure has always felt heavy to me, like restricting. And what I've realised this week, one of the many realisations this week, has been you can find structure and still be in free fall, right? You can still be in flow. You can still be completely guided and allow the magic to unfold, and find some structure for yourself. But, you know, it's my structure. I'm not trying to live by anybody else's rules, regulations, blueprint. So this realization that I'm an introvert this week, of course, then it's made sense that now I'm starting to crave my time on my own every day. It's made me realise that for all of these years, certainly since I had my first child, which is now almost 9 years ago, that I was not seeking that solitude. I I was trying to put myself in situations that an extrovert would enjoy being in. So I was trying to sign up for classes, and I was trying to arrange to go out with friends and all of these things, and I could never understand why that always felt like a chore, even when I would enjoy it when I got there. Am I making any sense at all? So it really hit me this morning that, oh my goodness, all this time, like, I used to really watch Kevin, right? My husband. He loves to play golf. He plays golf at least twice a week, sometimes more. And I used to look at him going off to golf and be like, oh, like, I need a thing like that. And I would even moan at him and go, oh, well, it's all right for you because you get to go and do that, but I don't get to do it. And he would always say, well, go and do it then. Like, you know, go and find a hobby or go and join a club or do something. Like, of course you can go and do that. And then I would always be like, oh, okay, but I don't really know what to do. And so I was always telling myself that I didn't have the ability to do that, when the truth was I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go and join a club. I didn't want to go and see friends because I actually love being on my own. I value my own time. It's taken me so long to get to that point though. And so the realization, even as I walked this morning, was this is what lights me up. I've just realized that on every day that I've managed to get that time to myself, I haven't felt the stress through the day. I haven't felt like I'm missing out on anything. I haven't felt like I'm hard done by. I've not had any of those anxious, stressful feelings of life isn't fair and I'm not getting what I need, because I'm starting every day on my own with my thoughts. I'm writing in my journal. I'm reading/listening to inspiring words that are lifting me up. And it has been an absolute game changer. So I think I would just say at this point, if you're feeling any kind of that resistant energy or anxious energy, that feeling of I've got to do, and I'm a real doer, so I really relate to that feeling, then maybe step away from all the things you think you should be doing and ask yourself, what should I be doing? What would I choose to be doing? If there was nothing I had to do, if there were no expectations put upon me, if there were no restrictions, then what would I choose to do? So another realization I've had this week is I completely lost sight of the fact that joy is my birthright, but more than that, it's my absolute purpose as well. And I think I've been taking everything far too seriously, which is why it's been feeling so hard. And so this week, again, I've really allowed myself to come back to my natural desire to feel joy. I remember ages ago, years ago, writing in a journal around what I thought my purpose was. And I wrote out the phrase, my purpose is to give joy and feel it in return. And so I knew this, I've known this for ages, and yet I'd forgotten it. And I was almost turning away from the things that made me joyful. And I was kind of turning towards the things that felt difficult and hard. And that was stemming from a belief that before you can feel success and before you can be happy, it needs to be hard. I've learned to let go of that belief, and largely in gratitude and thanks to this book that I've been reading. And it's guided me right back to my purpose that I always knew, which is joy. And do you know the beautiful thing that happened this week? As I was realising this, I was doing one of my live streams, because by the way, I now do a daily live stream on Instagram. If you're not already following me, follow me at Lily Babcock. The link is in the show notes. So I go live every day on Instagram, different times, sometimes morning, sometimes evening. And I was live this week on one of the things and live on Facebook too. And somebody that I used to work with years ago popped up on the screen and basically wrote the most beautiful message to me, which was, when I think of you and our time working together, the thing I think of first is that you were always joyful. You were always bringing that joy to others. And it gave me goosebumps. And I was like, holy crap, I get that. I think somebody even wrote that in my leavers book at school. And it was someone I didn't know closely either. I remember being surprised at the time, even though I was only 15 or 16 or whatever it was. And they wrote, I'll always remember that your smile lit up a room. And I was like, oh my God, what? Like, you really never know the impact that you're having on a person. And so I'd completely forgotten that was not only my birthright, because actually joy is your birthright too. I hadn't only forgotten that, I'd forgotten that it's actually my superpower as well. I'd actually started to learn that feeling joy was a bad thing because I was so aware of all the pain around the world and the fact that people have hard lives. And I'd got into this thinking of like, I have to find the struggle in my life because otherwise it's not fair. And what I've realised is that the world doesn't need more people to struggle. You can't serve the world from your place of struggle. You are going to serve the world and therefore yourself when you turn to the things that bring you joy, when you allow yourself to feel ease, when you allow yourself to feel lit up and excited. So if you have maybe forgotten as well that joy is your birthright, let this be your reminder. And another realization that has come off the back of that is that when I'm inspired, I can and I do follow through. So this bullshit story I was telling myself that, I don't ever complete anything, or that I'm flaky, I can't be relied upon, blah, 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 is bollocks. Because when I'm inspired, when I see the value in it, I see it through. And actually, it doesn't even matter if you see it through. Gabrielle Bernstein doesn't care, perhaps, if I read her book or if I don't read her book. I think Gabrielle Bernstein has set the intention that whoever picks up her book gets what they need from it. Whether that means you read it, chapter to chapter, one end to the other, or whether you pick it up and just are guided to things. I just think that's probably the intention. So again, this is letting go of this need to do things for other people's gain and instead just be okay with doing things for your gain first, because that's truly how you're going to be able to support and serve the world anyway. So as a result of this, I want to ask you this question. What have you lost sight of recently? What is it about yourself that you always knew to be true that maybe you've been losing sight of? Who were you choosing to be before the world told you to be something else? And I would really suggest that you sit with that question. You could journal on it, you could meditate on it, or just ask yourself the question. Even pay attention to the answers that come up straight away when you ask yourself that. Who were you choosing to be before the world told you to be anything different? And I think there's some powerful shifts and realizations to be found there. And just to close this chapter, and I don't know, this feels like a nice sort of structure for this podcast moving forward, but who knows, by next Friday I might have thought of something else. So for now, this is the structure of this episode. We may carry this forward, but I just thought if I could give you a prompt or a question to ponder on, that would be helpful. And then I want to finish with giving you a mantra or an affirmation that you can take forward into your week. And so this week, your mantra is, I always know what's best for me. So allow yourself to always come back to, what do I feel is best for me in this moment? What do I choose to let go of? What do I choose to turn towards? And I would love to know what comes up for you after doing that. So please reach out, get in touch with me. All of the links are in the show notes below. Before I go, can I just let you know that very, very excitingly, starting on Monday, so where are we now? We're now the 29th of May. So starting on Monday, the 1st of June, I'm doing a free 5-day live stream series on Facebook. The link will be in the show notes, and it's called 5 Days to Spiritual Purpose. So give me 5 days and I will reconnect you back to who you truly are, why you're truly here. And then off the back of that is the launch of the On Purpose Mastermind. So you might have heard me mention this already because we've been in beta test this month. This has been yet again another example that I actually can and do follow through when I see the value in something and when I'm inspired. So it's been such an awesome month with the group that I've taken through. We're now ready to open the doors. The doors are going to open on Monday as well. And then the work is going to start the following week. So that means if you choose, you can do the free 5 days to see what you think. And then if you feel guided to join us in the On Purpose Mastermind, I would love to have you. So how that looks is 3 months of coaching with me personally in an intimate group setting, and it's all online as well. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. And we will be working together, closely for 3 months to really tap you back into your purpose, to really tap you back into who you are and why you're here, and to really give you the tangible steps to move forward so that you can start bringing your gifts to the world and essentially living the life that you know you were born here to live. So that's all kicking off. I won't say any more about it. If you want the full information, click the link in the show notes. The page for the On Purpose Mastermind will be published next week, so keep an eye out for that. It's all on lilybadcock.com, and I will look forward to seeing you in the challenge. And that leaves it for me to say thank you for listening. I will be back again next week. I hope you enjoy the interview that comes out today as well with Penny. Do check that out, and don't forget to please go to Apple, give me a rate and review if you love this podcast, and get in touch. Go join the Facebook group, Wake Up, Rise Up. Let me know what came through for you after listening to this episode. Connect with each other in there, and I'll see you next time. Lots of love. And here we go. It's time for a cheesy sign off. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to join me and my awesome community in our free Facebook group, Wake Up, Rise Up, go and check out the link in the show notes below. Don't forget, every Friday you can join me in that group for a live Q&A, and I also stream that on Instagram. All of the links you'll need are in the show notes for this episode. If you loved the show, please go to iTunes, leave me a comment and a review, and share with anyone you know who might love it too. And in the meantime, have an awesome day and keep shining. It's time.